Hey, good evening, everybody. How you doing? I hope you all had a fantastic weekend. I wanted to put out a quick video tonight to just go over some general thoughts about the market, and then to look at a few charts of some setups I'm looking at for this upcoming week. So let's get started. This is a chart I posted earlier this week. This is the long-term S&P 500 going back to the uh, late 80s, and as we all know, the market's been extremely hot. You can see here the money flow. This is a monthly, so the 14-month money flow index and RSI, both momentum type indicators, are really high. Money flow is actually the highest it can get mathematically. It's at 100. RSI is at 86. So these are extremely overbought indicators. Really, there's only one time in history where I've seen that they've been this overbought, and I'll go back here, and that was in 1996. The money flow index was maxed out 100. This 14-month RSI was in the mid 80s, just like it is now. So usually when you hear something like that, you think the next line is going to be, oh, and then the market crashed X percent over the next year. But look what happened. 1996, kind of similar. Market was coming off a 40% move uh, from this little base here up to 100 money flow index, high RSI. Then look what happened. Next 3.5 years, the S&P 500 was up over 100%. So who would have thought, right? Kind of similar now. We're up about 30% from this base. Similar momentum indicators. So am I saying we go up 100% in the next 3.5 years? Absolutely not. Could we? Sure. That's my whole point. Is just you just need to kind of keep an open mind. All markets and time frames are different, so you know nobody knows for sure what's going to happen. So we just have to do our best to follow what the market's giving us. Kind of along the lines here. This is the S&P 500. Here's what the blue dot is what it would be trading at if it was trading at a PE of 20. The red dotted line is a PE of 15. Now this is based on GAAP earnings. So you can see right now we're about 30% higher than we would be if we were trading at a PE of 20, and about 60% higher, 70% higher than a PE of 15. So what does this mean? It means that the market's very fairly valued right now. But does that mean it's going to crash? No. Does that mean it's going to go up? No. I don't know. But it's just kind of important to see what kind of environment we're in. But really, in the end, all that's going to matter is price action, and as long as that's going up, then we have to respect that and look for setups on the long side, and that's kind of where we are right now. And if that changes, then we'll change our minds. So let's get to some setups for next week. First one is Tech Resources. I really like this chart quite a bit. See, it kind of has an inverse head and shoulders type look. This is the weekly. This $27 area was resistance here, resistance here, resistance here, and all of a sudden last week it broke above it. So it's a fresh breakout. I don't use fundamentals to dictate my buy and sell decisions, but I do look at them to help generate watch lists with scans, things like that. But this has some really good fundamentals too. It has a PE ratio under 8. This quarterly earnings per share, I mean, just growing crazy numbers here. Revenue growth, really impressive. So fundamentally, this is a great looking name. And then the price action, which is what dictates everything for me, looks really good. Here's the daily. Little extended maybe. I wouldn't mind seeing it kind of consolidate sideways before making another move up, or maybe kind of dip down a bit into this yellow area. But big picture, weekly, this looks good as long as it can stay above this $20, $25, $26 area. I like this one a lot. Next one, Simon Property Group. This one's been a real dud here since it made its top in middle of 2016, but it's been working on a bottom here. You can see this $165 area has been resistance here, well, support here, then resistance, resistance, resistance. Then all of a sudden, 2 weeks ago, it broke above it. So a bullish move there. It didn't quite hold, kind of came back down. This is the daily chart, but it looks like it wants to hang. That's a Friday candle, so it kind of looks like it wants to hang in there. So if it starts moving up out of this area, I'd like this as a long. As long as it can stay above there, I could if it got under this 160-ish area. I don't think I'd want to own it anymore. But if it can kind of consolidate sideways or start moving up, this one would be tempting for me on the long side. I've talked about this one before, Delta Airlines. This one has gone nowhere since 2015, really. Well, unless you bought it there, then you had a nice move up. But it's basically hasn't moved much to the upside for years versus the market. But now it's making a pretty good move. It's kind of got over this high, and it's kind of consolidating right around this old high from the summer. If I zoom in on the daily, you can kind of see that better. Right here, we'll call it 55.50. Kind of looks like it's bouncing off that. So for me, if it can get above this $56, $57 area, this would be another one that's tempting on the long side to me. Because this weekly chart looks good in my view. I like when it kind of breaks above an area and then it's kind of consolidating here. I think it can make for some powerful moves. Next one is Teladoc. Similar look to Tech. It had this resistance about 36, resistance, consolidating. Here it is right here. I'll zoom in the daily, kind of see it a little bit better. Friday, it kind of looked like it wanted, Thursday and Friday, it kind of looked like it wanted to break out, and it retreated. So we'll see what happens next week. But if it can kind of, get a close or two above this 37, $40, $37.50 area, this one would be interesting to me. And of course, if it was under this area here, I probably would exit the position. But above that, it looks pretty bullish. TSE, another similar look. This one goes back to early 2017. Couldn't get over this $73 level. Kind of hung out around there, kind of really flat. And then all of a sudden last week just had a really nice candle and broke out. So this one longer term looks really bullish. Shorter term, I'd probably put my stop under this yellow. So right now, maybe a little extended for me. That's 8%. It's kind of a wide stop for me. I'd try to do 5% or less ideally, but if it can come back around 70, 75-ish, kind of look like it's going to hold and start to move up, this one might be tempting to me, but it all depends on your time frame. But longer term, this breakout looks really bullish. If it could stay above the 75-ish level, I like that one quite a bit. Next one, CNQ. Also broke out from above a big level. This $35 area was resistance for going back years, and then broke above it, kind of came back down, consolidated. Now it's moving up again. We'll zoom in on the daily. Really like it. We'll see if this area holds here. Kind of filled this little gap at 36.50. But I think anywhere above this $35 mark would be a decent buying spot. Again, it depends on your time frame, but this one has a pretty bullish look to it longer term. International Paper, kind of similar. This $58 area was resistance. Then all of a sudden last week, this huge breakout. Unfortunately, I missed the breakout here. This would have been a nice spot to buy the day it broke out. If I usually wait till around the close to buy a breakout if I take the position. So if I could have bought it around there, that would have been pretty good. But now I missed it. Then it's kind of gone up a little. So now it's a full, if I put my stop down here, again, that's 8% for my stop. So if it can come down, into the $59, $60 area, I'd be tempted to that. So that's something I'll be watching this week. Last one is a biotech name. Good fundamentals on this one as well. Not quite ready yet, but I'm watching for this 1475 area. That could be a really nice buy area on this one, 1480. So it's kind of consolidating above this key level. So we'll see what happens. So thanks for your time. If you haven't checked out ttptrading.com, please do. We have great educational material, watch list, and of course live trade alerts. So check